Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gamesbox Daily. I'm Dom.
And I'm Sippy.
So, as many of you may have heard, Microsoft have done some big acquisitions lately. One particular, which was Bethesda. And there are now rumors circulating that they are doing a Bethesda sized buyout. So, we thought we'd do something a little bit more interesting than usual. And we'd do some predictions on a nice presented tier list for you and give you our thoughts on what we think potentially could be the next big buyout. So, but before we get going, what did you think of the Bethesda buyout? How were you excited? Are you excited?
It honestly affected me little to none. There's really only one property within that buyout that concerns me, and that's Dishonored. Huge fan of that series, which does fall under the Bethesda umbrella. Um, but like I don't play any other Bethesda games, so it really completely unaffected me. Um, Although, as I understand it, when they've been doing these buyouts for other companies, that they are basically just bringing them into the fold, as opposed to having creative control. So that's the big piece for me is all of these studios getting to maintain their creative control.
Okay, well, I am a fan of the Elder Scrolls series, and with the potential, well, with the newer Elder Scrolls coming somewhere in the distant future, I'm really interested to see how Microsoft present it. And with the extra kind of assets Microsoft brings to the table, maybe we will see a faster release, or I don't know, or just more interesting releases. We already read about Indiana Jones being put on the table, so whips and revolvers coming soon. Oh my. But
I
yeah.
thought you were about to say whips and chains for all the good boys and girls, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, behave, darling. Alright, okay, guys, so welcome to our tier list review. Basically, what we're going to do is we've got a list of from S to D, and we're going to be going through some of the bigger gaming companies that are on a similar sort of size to Bethesda, and we're going to rank them on kind of like the interesting, how many, like what kind of IPs that they could bring, what is the kind of the probability of that happening, and just our general excitement. So this is our personal feelings on it. Of course, if you have any thoughts about these, then please do drop something in the comments below. But the first one that I want to take a look at, and this is Warner Brothers. So their wing, the interactive entertainment wing. So best known for big series such as Batman Arkham. You got the Lego series, the Middle Earth series, and of course the new Harry Potter RPG. So really big titles. I mean, I was a huge fan of the Arkham series. Now, Warner Brothers, they sit at 4 billion. So the Bethesda buyout was 7 billion. So this sits within our price budget. What's your thoughts? Like, you were a Batman fan, weren't you?
Yep, I absolutely love the Arkham series. Well, the ones that I've played. Um, all of the Lego games are fantastic. I've heard nothing but, for the most part, good things about the Middle Earth games. I know my kid loves the Lego series of games. The Harry Potter RPG is one of those that I'm having difficulty coming to terms with for being a fan of the series, but not a fan of the author anymore. But the most interesting part about this is it came to light that AT&T is looking to sell parts of the Warner Brothers Entertainment section, that the games section. A couple of different people fielding it. Um, I think that Microsoft kind of snagging this up is probably a really good thing. Um, it fits uh kind of where they need to go with their games and what's available for them. Because I mean, right now the Xbox got nothing going for it except for, hey, that Game Pass is pretty awesome. So having like the Arkham, what is it? The Arkham Knights, I believe, is the next big game in that series that's supposed to be coming out. Um, Having that as an Xbox exclusive would be pretty bomb for Xbox.
Yeah, I agree. And another reason why I think this would be really cool is you have a look at it from a Game Pass point of view. When I load up Netflix, I want a big variety. I want lots of things to play. And Warner Brothers brings a huge variety. Like the Lego series touches so many different franchises. It's got that kind of, it's got for adults and for a younger audience. You've got the Batman Arkham series, which is like, again, big range of games that have been published, and further Batman series to come out. And then you've got Middle Earth, and you've got the Harry Potter series. So like there's something for everyone there, which if you're trying to sell a Game Pass to people, you really want that kind of like very rich, diverse catalogue of games. So yeah, I think this is, for me, this is right up there on the tier list. However, there were rumours that AT&T, as I say, they were looking to sell, but I don't believe, I think now they're no longer looking to sell. So if you take that into account, but the excitement of what kind of games they offer, where would you feel that Warner Brothers sits at the moment? So we got 5 tiers.
I mean, this would be an S tier acquisition easily.
I
think this would be a top tier acquisition for Microsoft. However, if AT&T has indeed like taken it off the table and aren't fielding it for selling anymore, like that would just drop it down one. Because you throw enough money and they'll bite.
Okay.
So.
All right, brilliant. Okay, so we're going to, there we go. Our first title going on there. Warner Brothers sitting at Class A. So let's have a look at our second big company on the menu that could potentially be an acquisition for Xbox. Now, I'm not sure how close to the realm of fantasy this one is. However, it is a company that is familiar with the Microsoft platform, and that, of course, is Bungie, which was founded in 1991, and two big titles, which, of course, are Halo and Destiny, and, of course, Microsoft own Halo at the moment, and Destiny is in the hands of Bungie. So, in terms of an acquisition, I mean, it would make sense, right? They've got Halo, and then they go for Bungie, and then they've got both parts. They've got both series, and it's two very similar sort of, like, if you've ever played Destiny and then compared it to Halo, like, they have a very similar feel. You bob around, you feel like you're shooting, you're on the moon, like the characters have kind of got that similar sort of aesthetic feel to it, at least early on in the series it did. And I mean, there were some early rumours as well. As rumours have sprouted up recently in a GameSpeak podcast about Microsoft potentially buying out the studio again. But CEO Pete Barton squashed them. This means that Bungie is still independent, but the Microsoft big purchase lately in the recent Xbox series, who knows what will be next for the Destiny developer. Yeah, so I don't know.
I mean, this is a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, it could feel like a coming home for Bungie, but the whole reason for their split with Microsoft was like they wanted to make Destiny. Like when they started producing Destiny after they split from Microsoft, and I believe it was 343 took over the Halo license. They said, this is the game that we've always wanted to make. When we started making Halo, we wanted to be making Destiny. And they even left like subtle hints throughout the Halo series, the games that they worked on, alluding to Destiny, which were later removed in the Master Chief Collection. So I feel like on the one hand, there's a little bit of spite between the greater Microsoft and Bungie Studios, but on the other hand, like it's like going to be like a coming home. Like I said, they're used to working for this company. So long as Microsoft were to, again, as I mentioned earlier, um, allow Bungie as a developer to have a little bit more uh, artistic license and artistic freedom with what they're producing, I think that they would be comfortable returning to Microsoft.
Yeah, I I think you've nailed it there. It's just like it would be a coming home story. However, I think the original reason that they left, it just doesn't say to me, yeah, that Microsoft are going to be buying them up and they're going to be working for the people that they originally, originally started. And like it was, yeah, and they've also only just come out of another split. So why would they instantly go back? Like they've just set up their new model payment. It just doesn't seem to make sense. And so ranking this, if Microsoft would tomorrow go, hey, we bought Destiny, I just wouldn't be excited. I wouldn't be excited, and I certainly don't think fans would be overly impressed with it either. So for that reason, I'm giving this one a D.
See, I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say that I would put it just ever so slightly higher at a C. And my reason for that is one of the upcoming Halo and the response that it got. And like when the game trailer looked the way that the game trailer did, and the fans' response to that trailer was anything but positive. I think maybe having the old guard kind of work on it again and give it the spit and polish that they're now giving to Destiny on a regular basis with regular updates. I think that would be something good for Halo, which is why I would bump it up ever so slightly, not very high, but instead of being a D tier, I'd say this is a C tier acquisition.
Okay. All right. Well, you've made some good points. I'm gonna go with you on this one. So there we go. Bungie sitting at tier C.
All right. So another possible acquisition on our list is Bloober Team. You might be familiar from Bloober Team for their horror/walking sims that they've done over the years, including Layers of Fear, Observer, Blair Witch, and most recently, The Medium. Which, by the way, is currently on Game Pass, like day one available on Game Pass. So a little interesting tidbit there. I think it would be an interesting acquisition because like Bloober Team has been trying to keep kind of the horror feel alive, although a lot of their games kind of turn into like kind of sort of horror themed walking simulators, which is fine. Maybe having a little bit more behind them so that they could offer more of a well-rounded horror experience would be nice. The reason that these guys are even on this list is apparently they were in talks sometime last year about possibly selling, possibly being bought out by someone else, and they listed off a number of people. Well, they said there were about 12 that they had whittled down to 6 buyers, but I don't think they ever actually gave names, just locations. And 3 of those buyers were potentially in the US. And Microsoft had previously said that they were farming out for possible purchase of a Polish-based studio. Bloober is located in Poland, so I mean it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Conspiracy theory, string theory here, like zoop, 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 zoop. Who can I connect to what? But maybe, just maybe, this is that Polish studio that they were looking at.
or maybe another Polish studio. Okay, so I mean, I agree with you. However, right, here's my thinking. We've got ourselves a Game Pass, right? And I think we have to kind of always assume that, this is building a catalog for Game Pass, because this is a big part of their strategy this year, or of going forward anyway. Now, every kind of platform as a service, it needs that horror kind of piece to it, right? And needs a good horror story. However, they've just bought Bethesda, and Bethesda were the publishers for The Evil Within. So, if they were, it's so The Evil Within, the publisher was Bethesda Software. The developers was Tango Gameworks, which I didn't know until I did a little bit of digging on that. So, yeah. So, like, you know, you've got that. What a great series. CP's face right now is just like, what is this? Yeah. Evil Within was published by Bethesda Softworks.
I did not realize that at all.
Yeah, so
I'll be damned.
Yeah, so really, like a big, exciting opportunity. I mean, you know, a really, really loved series. You know, The Evil Within 3 potentially. So, but, if you know you're looking for bang for your buck, you get 3 great horrors. You get Layers of Fear, you get Observer, you get Blair Witch. And we're talking about this kind of diverse catalogue of games. You know, they've got some really good action shooters, but I've never thought I've never really seen like a Microsoft-based horror game. I've not I've never seen the Microsoft logo, Xbox logo attached to kind of their own distinct horror game.
Well, it wasn't. Didn't Dead Space start as an Xbox exclusive before, like with the first one, and then it kind of went to the other platforms?
Yeah, so that was the only one that stuck in my head. I mean, but you've got like Alan Wake was on the Xbox. They released Resident Evil 2, which wasn't part of them. The Little Nightmares, all the Resident Evil series. We got We Happy Few, and the most recent one being Medium. But generally, like horror games, I think of like Sony. Like they've got kind of they've definitely had more titles in terms of horror games versus Xbox. So I don't know. The strings there's I think in realms of reality it does make more sense. I'm just throwing in some real crackpot theories in terms of
so what you need to do here, Mr. Editor, is that that Always Sunny in Philadelphia conspiracy theory meme, you know, the one with that.
Yeah.
You need that. There you go.
Okay, we'll get that one in there. Okay, so what's your thoughts? What's your feelings on this actually being in the realms of possibility?
Well, I think and the fact that you need games for your games or game service to promote at Medium literally day one. Like, I'm going to get to pay Medium if my computer can handle it, thanks to Game Pass. So I'm putting this one. However, Bloober Team, like I said, it's like horror walking sims. So yes, they need more horror games. I just don't think Bloober does the best one. So this is my like dead center. This is my B acquisition.
Okay, B it is. All right, so we're going to give Bloober the B. There we have it. All right. We're going to go completely off the edge of reality on this one. So our next potential company that could be looked at getting acquired is CD Projekt Red. So now, there aren't any rumours currently that they are looking to be bought, and they are currently, or at least before everything started going wrong, they're worth $8 billion. So that would put them in just above Bethesda at $7 billion. However, you know, I think if Microsoft were looking to create earthquake-sized ripples, purchase of CD Projekt Red would be absolutely huge. You grab The Witcher, and you'd end up with Cyberpunk 2077 and whatever else the studio put out, because they have a fantastic set of developers and a really, aside all the kind of disasters of the release, they are an incredibly talented development studio and just look at the Witcher series. It was absolutely fantastic, and my jaw would drop just thinking about this. However, is this too far out of the realms of reality? Are we in full fairyland right now?
I kind of think so. Simply because CDPR likes to kind of flaunt themselves as like the friend of the gamer, even though they're still just another AAA game studio. But they own GOG, which used to be called Good Old Games, but now it's just been shortened to GOG, which is supposed to be like the most gamer-friendly marketplace. Getting bought up by Microsoft would mean Microsoft would gain GOG as well. And I don't think CDPR would do that, because one of the big things that GOG does is guarantee none of the not DMCA. What's the
not I want to say de novo. It's not de novo.
Yeah, well, de novo and things of that ilk, but the digital rights management, DRM.
DRM, yes.
So GOG is DRM free, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft Store not so much. So, I mean, when we're talking about Microsoft, you also have to remember, once upon a time ago, they said that your Xbox was going to need to connect to the internet once a day, every day. Otherwise, it would brick itself. So, I don't think the two of these groups would have any decent talking points with each other.
Okay, I mean, again, so in terms of, for me, right, this would be such a big shock statement. This would just be such a big announcement. However, because I just don't think it's going to happen, this gets a C rating from me. This does.
Yeah, I mean, I give it a D rating, but that's just because I think it's like such a moonshot that it's not even a possibility in my eyes.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. I've got in my hand something. Left or right, okay?
Right.
Okay. It is a D. Okay, there we go. As you can say, all these predictions are done through scientific methods. All right. That's CD Projekt Red sitting at D.
So another game. So another studio that we're going to take a look at is Remedy Entertainment. So Remedy, known for, of course, Max Payne, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and Control. Full disclosure, I freaking loved Control. I loved the Alan Wake expansion to it. I have every intention of going back and playing all of the Alan Wake games that I got for free through the Epic Store. So I kind of have a soft spot for Remedy. I never played Quantum Break. I didn't have a whole lot of interest in Quantum Break, but per my recollection, Quantum Break was initially a project between Remedy and Microsoft. So they kind of do have a history of sorts there. I don't know if it would be necessarily off-brand for Remedy to get kind of an exclusive style deal or be owned by Microsoft, because we still don't know if being owned by Microsoft also means exclusivity. That's still up in the air. I don't think it would be off-brand for them at all, if I'm being honest.
No. Again, going back to the Game Pass, they would end up with some pretty nifty titles to kind of expand on. I mean, Alan Wake, who doesn't want another one? And also Quantum Break. I just mean that just those series of games, like they feel like they belong on an Xbox, a Game Pass. I know I keep saying Game Pass, but as I am a huge fan of Game Pass, I'm just going to put my hands up there because when I sat at home and I'm bored, I play Netflix and I run through all the different series and I pick out something that's different and diverse. And these games are different and diverse, and I'd be like, hell yeah, I would love to play them. However, my only conundrum with this buyout is that they've recently signed a deal with Epic. And Epic's basically went, Remedy, yep, we want exclusivity, but you have 100% of your intellectual property, and you also have full creative control of your own work. Which to me smells like Epic is going to start creeping towards doing a full buyout. And as a development studio, imagine being owned by a big publishing house like Epic and having full control over your product. Like, I mean, win-win. That sounds like a very attractive offer, but Microsoft has cash bags galore. So who's not to say they might come along?
Yeah, and I don't disagree with any of that whatsoever. The issue is it's all going to boil down to a money thing. When Control was being released elsewhere after its exclusivity on the Epic Store had kind of finished out, it was cheaper literally everywhere but on Epic, who had it from the get-go. So yes, they're going to be, as a studio, making more money, but they can't sell, and that's has something to do with a previous video that we did because of price choking and all of that. But I think that I kind of feel like Remedy is actually happy functioning with Epic.
I agree with you. If it wasn't for the fact that they went ahead and woof 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 woof. If it wasn't for the fact that Epic had said, you've got your property and they've done this deal, I would have given this.
The dogs agree with you.
Yes, there we go. Woof woof. I thought this would have been an S class. This would have been S class for me because of Control being an Alan Wake. Just those two titles. I mean, I really enjoyed Max Payne back in the day. Maybe not the last one they did, but certainly, Control, great series. So,
and they have a history of exclusivity with Quantum Break, so
yeah,
or at least timed exclusivity with Quantum Break. But this would have been, if it weren't for that Epic deal, this also would have been an S class for me. But
yeah,
where are you putting it?
I'm putting it at an A. This is an A class acquisition for me. This is a good one. This is a good one.
We still don't. We don't have an S class yet.
There is only one S tier in my heart, and we will get onto that in a bit. Only one. Okay. All right. We're recording.
So the next one that we're going to talk about is Platinum. Now these guys are a little bit. It's an interesting studio, we'll say. Platinum Games is kind of a work for hire. They'll do whatever cool game they have an idea for whoever is willing to pay to foot the bill for it. I mean, they've done exclusives for Nintendo. They've done timed exclusives for Sony. One of those, in fact, being Bayonetta. The original Bayonetta was a timed exclusive for the PlayStation. And then Bayonetta 2 was a full exclusive, timed exclusive over for Nintendo. Nier Automata is just an amazing game. Easily one of my favorites. And with the new Nier game coming, I know it has a better name than the new Nier game. It's just it has a long string of numbers, and no thank you. Though with that coming out, it would be kind of cool for them, but there's kind of a big old angry sticking point on this one. Microsoft had sunk money into Scalebound, which was the studio head's like that was his dream project. And after being like in development for, I want to say, like 3 or 4 or 5 years, they finally canceled the project in 2017 and retained the rights to Scalebound. So all of this work that was done, not only is the project shuttered, but they can't even farm it out to Platinum, can't even farm it out to anybody else. So I kind of feel like this one has angst behind it, and Platinum, I'm not saying this is truth, but I feel like Platinum would rather go bankrupt than allow themselves to be bought by Microsoft.
Wow. Yeah, because I know Phil Spencer, he wanted to get an Asian studio, like a Japanese one, I think it was he was after. But yeah, this just smells of bad blood. Like, oof. Wow. I mean, and to retain the IP afterwards, be like, oh yeah, well, let's bake a cake together. Oh, actually, no, I don't want to. But by the way, I'm hanging on to Grandma's recipe, and you won't be getting it back. And it's like, oof, because Scalebound looked really cool. That was one with all the dragons in it, I believe, wasn't it?
Yep. As I recall, it was like late teen, early 20s kid, like magically transported to some fantasy realm and like bound to a dragon upon arrival. So you can either fight as the human kid, who's like a modern kind of, I don't want to say like edgelord, but kind of edgelord. Or you can like swap to his soul partner of the dragon and fight as the dragon. So like you can fight as either or both, and it looked really, really cool. And then it got shuttered.
That sounds really good. Like the kid looked like Dante. I thought, yeah, I remember. Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, with bad blood in the mix, where do you see this?
I see, like I said, this is, I would expect Platinum would rather think than swim with Microsoft. So that unfortunately puts it at a D tier. Now, if they could get over it and breathe life back into fucking Scalebound, this would be an S tier acquisition in my mind. But because of that bad blood, it's all the way at the bottom.
Okay, awesome. All right, there we go. So we've got Platinum Games sitting at right at the bottom with CD Projekt Red at D. Okay, I'm saving the spiciest for last. There is nothing more than some crackpot theories behind this one, right? Just a tweet. Just a tweet and some some very interesting images. But yes, that's right. What if Microsoft bought the Blue Hedgehog loving company, Sega? I would. This would. I mean, okay, I would be so excited. I've got tingles going down the back of my spine that I would be that excited about it. It would be. I mean, it'd be amazing. Like the range of titles that would come with Sega alone. Just bonkers. Just bonkers.
So I know Sega is now purely a development studio, but some of their properties are now owned by Nintendo, I think. Is that correct? Do you know?
I do not. Which ones are owned by Nintendo then?
I think I'm not.
What, the Disney ones?
No, I think that Nintendo like bought the Blue Hedgehog out of spite.
Really? I'm gonna have to hang on. Nintendo own Sonic. Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog. Nintendo for. Okay, does Nintendo Japanese game. Sega exited the console market, so it's continuing the series on Xbox. Oh, owned by Sega. That's owned by Sega.
Okay, good. Because You know what we really need in this day and age of like kind of sort of but not really console wars? We need mascots to be fighting each other again. So
Yeah,
yes, bring the blue hedgehog to the Xbox and let Nintendo and Mario duke it out with Xbox and Sonic just the way that it's supposed to happen. And Sony can sit over off to the side without any really good mascot because they went through them like candy, and they'll do fine without a mascot. They don't need a mascot. Just let Nintendo and Xbox duke it out.
yeah.
Back the way that the good Lord meant it to be, with Sonic and Mario beating the crap out of each other for your wallet.
I mean,
Would they
yeah.
have to make him a green hedgehog though?
God. Sonic the Bogey. God, it'd be fucking awful. Sonic the Cabbage. Yeah. Oh no, no! Why would you do these things? No, but it could mean that finally we get a brand new copy of Altered Beast. Man, oh, did you play Altered Beast?
So Altered Beast was one of the very first freebies with the PlayStation Plus. I don't remember playing it as a kid because we were a Nintendo house and I did not get to go to my buddies who had the Sega very often. So I never got to play Altered Beast as a kid. As an adult, I played it and was like, eh, not a fan. I can understand why people would be a fan, but to me, it was dated. I would like to see a more modernized version of it so that I could have some level of appreciation.
I mean,
I feel
yeah,
like it's one of those games I missed out on.
yeah. I mean, there's just so many good things. I mean, so aside the Sonic series, you get access to Yakuza. You'd have Persona. You'd have Fantasy Star Online. It'd be, and like Sony Classic, like, I mean, they even helped develop Bayonetta alongside Platinum Games, so I don't know how that would tie in. Would we? Yeah, I I would be. I mean, I would say that and a new Jet Set Radio, but they someone. So I love that game. It was great. It was one of my favorite Dreamcast titles. But no, they don't. No, Streets of Rage team have to split off now, haven't they? They're not owned by Sega anymore. At least I don't think they are. But nonetheless, if we're going to talk about tier and excitement, and just how cool this would be, this is the only thing that scores an S class with me.
Yep, I'm right there with you. 100%. This is our S class vote.
It's the only one. It's just like, it would be so cool. He would just like, oh my god. I mean, I don't.
Could you imagine like Sonic running through the Xbox logo, kind of the way that he used to run past the Sega logo? Like, I'm literally picturing like each one of those as a loop de loop.
Yeah,
I am super into this idea.
So what is Sega's net worth at the moment? Revenue. Oh my god. There's no way. There's just no way that no. This is just too. I think this is too bonkers. But in terms of a fan service, this would be it. This would be it. Sega make 27 billion. They make 366 billion in 2020. They are printing out money. Oh my god. Wow. I did not realize this. I suppose.
I guess when they stopped making consoles and just dedicated themselves to the games,
It's working out for them.
happened.
I mean, they did the Sonic movie as well, didn't they? Which did really well.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
No, it was.
It was an enjoyable popcorn flick.
But people watched it. It definitely grossed. It made money, and it had Jim Carrey. All right. Anyway, there we go.
The most Jim Carrey's been in a very long time.
There we have it. Sega sitting at tier S.